Hey YouTube, Mark Kaufman here, and today I'm going to talk about my end of the year setup when it comes to my. I'm gonna put. Well, let me at least explain it this way. I have quite a few knives, and I have divided them this way. I have my traditionals. I have my modern traditionals, then I have my modern folders that are cheap, and then I have my modern folders that are expensive. So we're going to just start right at the top, and these are going to be my expensive modern folders at the end of 2020. This is what I have ended up with, and as of late I did do a huge, I'm going to say winter cleaning, not spring, but winter cleaning, and I got rid of a lot of knives. I had probably 30-40 expensive folders, and I wanted to downsize, and I got rid of knives like the Rex 45 copper Spyderco paramilitary 2. I got rid of the M4 Manix XL from Blade HQ. I got rid of some pretty incredible knives, but I feel a little more certain in my collection of what I'm actually going to use. Some of these knives ended up just staying in my case and never being touched, and only occasionally touched for maintenance. And so I just thought, that's not collecting. Collecting is using your stuff and also holding on to it and saying that I have used this for so many years. So that is how I'm going to set this up. I'm going to have 4 videos, hopefully done before the end of the year. And this is the first one. I'm going to put part 1 of my knife. I don't know how I'm going to title it yet, but these are my expensive folders, and I'm not really starting in any particular order. Some of these I haven't even reviewed yet, so you're going to get a little bit of a peek. So first we're going to start with the Cold Steel Airlight. I think this is a fantastic knife. Definitely an interesting offering from Cold Steel, and it's also a great knife to snag up right now with the sale of Cold Steel. I have no idea where that company may be going, and I'm hoping it's going nowhere but up. So I hope the best for Cold Steel, and I hope they keep making this knife. But if they don't, I at least have one in my collection, and I'm not going to be doing anything dumb with this one. I'm just going to use it. I'm not going to abuse it, but I'm going to use it. So there is the first one out of my collection. So the next one is going to be the SOG Flash. This is a recent one to my collection, but I have been loving it. I love this knife. It's fantastic for the money. And this just, with this Axis style, I think they call this the lock bar. I don't know what kind of lock they have branded it, but so far I have loved using this knife. And for its size, it actually does a great job doing smaller tasks that I would use a smaller knife for. But this has really been a wonderful knife added to my collection. So there's that one. Next one is going to be my Benchmade Super Freak. Yeah, this is a boss of a knife, and I've had this for almost, I'm gonna say a year and a half, and I have yet to sharpen this thing. This thing is incredible. It uses M4 steel. I have used this for jobs that I would never put any other knife that I own through, and I just find this to be a fantastic blade. The action is your standard Benchmade action, and I haven't done a review on this, but if you like the mini Griptilian or the Griptilian, this is a Griptilian basically on steroids. The way this handles in the hand, it basically is a Griptilian with a super blade. I know that you can go to Benchmade and you can make a custom knife with custom stuff, but I really like this knife with the red liners, with the M4, and this. I mean, like this basically, when I saw it, I thought to myself, they probably didn't call it Deadpool because that's trademarked. So yeah, it is a fantastic knife. Definitely pick it up if you want it. Okay, next in line, this one I haven't done a review on, but this one was actually a Christmas gift. So the Kershaw Blur in S30V, and you can already see, yes, I have added a sharpening choil to this one. I haven't sharpened this yet, but I have stropped it in use. And I have been really enjoying this, especially since finally I got it down to tip up carry. For the longest time, and you can kind of see the oil there, for the longest time of me owning this, I could not get these screws loosened. And it wasn't until I got my Weha Tool Bit, tool, right here, this Weha tool, I was finally able to get this thing to be tip up. This is a fantastic knife, and I see why it's so popular. And also, it's been around for so long. I mean, this is one of Kershaw's mainstay knives that they have in their lineup. From this amazing thumb stud setup where you just push up and it goes. You just have a great setup here. So that is the Kershaw Blur. So next, what's gonna be next? Okay, I did this one in an early review. I may do a re-review of it, but this is probably the closest thing you can get to a Sebenza right now in, I'm not gonna say in feel, but in like, in action. It's very smooth, it's snappy, it's convenient, it's compact. This is the A.G. Russell one-handed knife, and I think this does a few things better than your Sebenza at a fourth of the cost. So we have a deep carry clip here. We have G10, green G10. We have titanium liners and a titanium backspacer that holds this front lock in place. And so we've got that front lock here. You just lift that up. It's basically like a back lock, but it's in the front, so a front lock. And they call this a modified sheep's foot spear point, I think. I don't care, really. I think it's just a wonderful utility blade. Because it doesn't have much width on the blade, I do sharpen this to a pretty steep angle of almost 25 degrees. So it's not the sliciest, but I use this more for packages and stabbing. So this is a wonderful knife, and this is the A.G. Russell, and that light is really reflecting on the blade. The A.G. Russell one-handed opening knife, and it uses 9CR13 COMOV steel, and this is produced in China. I know these are around 120 bucks. I picked this up secondhand for about 60, and it is a wonderful knife, but I am basing this on retail. So yes, I do class this in my expensive knife category. Okay, on to the next one. What do I want to do? Here's one. This is the Spyderco Native 5 in Rex 45, and I love this knife. What a great beater knife, what a wonderful knife. And you can see that I have added a sharpening choil to that. I haven't yet sharpened this, but I have heard that using a diamond stone does help you sharpen CPM Rex 45. I have not had real staining issues on this knife. I do clean it. Not regularly, but I do keep it in my box. And the way I have my knives set up is I actually keep them in a plastic airtight container, not watertight, but airtight container, and I keep a dehumidifier in there. So that, and that's something that the dehumidifier is something I can plug into the wall and it will, I guess, recharge, but it will be able to dehumidify the air that is inside that box. So it keeps moisture at a reasonable level, and all my knives that I have that may rust are no longer rusting anymore. I used to just keep my knives in my closet and they ended up rusting right in my closet. So, but I love this knife. This is a wonderful knife. That's a little bit about how I store my knives. And this, I mean, we've got burnt orange G10. We've got no liners. It's just the G10 keeping that afloat. And this is just a fantastic, fantastic utility blade. And I'm telling you, that Rex 45 is definitely something special. Okay, we're going to move on. I'm trying to keep this short. We're at 10 minutes here. What's next? Oh, here we go. My Spyderco Spidey Chef. And you can see that I have added a lanyard on that. That was just temporary. I was wearing some pretty thick pants that made this a little more difficult to get out, so I just added that on there for the day and just forgot to take it off. So hence why it's not really a special knot or anything. But yeah, this is the Spyderco Spidey Chef, and I did do a review on this one, and that was really early in this video review talking about my knives and why I have them. But I bought this because this was on the, on the rage. Everybody had one. People were like, you have to get the Spidey Chef. They're probably going to discontinue it. You have to get the Spidey Chef. So I was like, well, I guess I have to get the Spidey Chef. And I'm so glad I did. I still haven't sharpened this. I have honed the edge via stropping and micro beveling. So I have done a micro bevel on this, about, I think 20-degree micro bevel, and with the fine bench stone from Spyderco, and that has really kept this a little more organized cutting wise, so I don't really have to take out a lot of blade. So that is the Spyderco Spidey Chef, and the thing I love about the Spidey Chef are these dimples here. Those dimples right there enable you to do a very comfortable pinch grip for chopping, and just doing any kind of chop. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful being able to do such a task so easily with a pocket knife. So enough about that one. Enough. Let's go to the Buck Mayo 171. This is a discontinued model from Buck, and this is a tiny knife. Let's do a slight comparison here. Let's do it with a comparable knife. This is the Kershaw Blur, and then this is the Buck Mayo 171, and you can see it is a pretty tight and compact folder. So that is definitely something of note, but I find this to be a wonderful little knife. I have been tempted to take the pocket clip off. A wonderful little folder that I could probably just throw in the bottom of my pocket and just keep it there. And what we have on this knife is it's running on phosphor bronze washers. We have a titanium handle that has been, I guess, Cerakoted black, and we have a frame lock here, which I find it to be good. If you can hear that, that is actually my knuckle, not my knuckle, but my finger pushing the frame lock into the blade. So if you bear down on this, you do feel a little bit of a rock of there, but there's no movement of the blade. I mean, it's a solid lockup. I just think it's just the size of the knife and what they decide to go with. We also have these wonderful bars here to give stability in the back, and we use Paul Boss's S30V. I mean, I can't complain about that. I think that's honestly the best S30V you can get on the market right now. And so that is the Buck Mayo 171. And you're probably wondering what's up with all the holes. Well, there are 25 holes, excluding the lanyard, and those 25 holes actually represent 25 years of knife making for Tom Mayo. So that's actually a really cool little deal. So, and yes, this knife is sometimes a little bit of a trick to get open because of its compact size. But yeah, this is a wonderful little knife, and it's discontinued. So good luck finding one. What is next on the docket? Okay, Acebiblio. I've recently done a review and talk on why I like this knife, but the reasons why is it's a little more of a compact Spidey chef for me. At least I can still do my chopping if I ever need to do that. It's compact. Recently, Giant Mouse has released a new knife that's supposed to be a miniature Acebiblio, but personally with a, I mean, other than the Pilar, I don't know if I'd want a grip like this to get any more compact. So I still feel like this is a pretty compact size blade. But this is a wonderful knife made out of titanium, bronze, and M390 with stainless steel screws. It is killer. Absolutely a killer setup here. Either way you go about it. Flipping, I don't do the middle finger flip at all, really. That's not my thing. So we've got the thumb, and then we got the index finger and for flipping. And I feel like this has wonderful action, and it's a great knife. And I do not mind the weight. Some people talk about the weight, but I don't mind it. All right, next on the chopping block, we will keep it consistent, and here is the Giant Mouse Knives Iona. Yeah, this is a really, really nice little compact folder, and I actually got this as a Christmas present also from the same guy that gave me the Kershaw Blur. And so this knife here is fantastic. It's compact. This is more Anzo than Vox, I personally think, in design, and I feel like the Giant Mouse Biblio is more Vox than, but you can see the similar lines. They have some continuing lines through there. But this is a wonderful knife that is compact. It's about $100, and it really hits a lot of boxes for the use. And I have sharpened this up since I've had it, and now I keep it sharp by doing micro bevels. And just every maybe 2 weeks, I just hit that on a fine Spyderco bench stone, and there we go. We have a removable thumb stud, so if you actually live in a place where you can have a locking knife but it can't be one-handed opening, you can open it that way. So you can take that thumb stud out. It's a really nice little knife, and I love carrying it, especially having that nice wire pocket clip and really good action. If you've ever had a Rat 2 or a Rat 1, it's very similar. This one I may disassemble and clean, or at least put some mineral oil down in the back there just to get these washers going just a little smoother. So that is the Giant Mouse Iona, and we keep it moving along. I'm trying to keep this going. We got the MKM Tameo, and this one is a Yes for Voxinez design. I haven't done a review on this one yet, but I think this is a wonderful utility folder, and it has stuck around in my collection because that's what I use it for. I usually use this for stripping wires, getting in real tough little spaces, but I need quite a bit of tip to get the strength that I need to do those jobs, and I really enjoy it. And I've found that the M390 they use is very durable, and I love the action on this. Really great. You can choke back here and choke up here. It really does lend itself to many different kinds of grips, and it's a wonderful, handsome knife. And I think if you bought this, you wouldn't be at least at any point disappointed with it. So that is the MKM Tameo. Moving along. Kershaw Lincoln 20CV. This one I did a video on, and I did a video on my modification here. After a few months of using this few weeks of using this since I made that video, I actually wish I had gone with a motif of just 3 cuts 1, 2, 3 to actually represent the 3 cuts in the handle. I think that would have been a great way of going about it, but I didn't do that, and I have found that this jimping does grip my thumb, but it's a little too fine for heavy aggressive work. I think wider spaced jimping would have been better for heavier work. So this has really been a great knife. I do enjoy carrying it. I don't regret my mod. I just regret the way I executed it. But that's how we learn, right? All right, next. What is this one? This is the 2089. No, 0640 ZT. Yep, this one has been, and I have learned, and I don't know if I'll be able to, there we go. I have learned how to do a front flip on this one, and it's not the most pleasant experience, but you can do it. This is definitely a knife that's going to be sticking in my collection, especially if they end up discontinuing it. This one is incredible, slick, slim, robust. And that is what I like about it. This really has been used for some heavy cutting tasks, not slicing, but heavy cuts. Just, you need a lot of blade strength to do the cuts, not the slice. So the slicing knives are usually a little thinner, but not as tough. And we have a Lynch deep carry clip here, which is wonderful. Hey, there we go. And this one, I've absolutely loved having it. And I don't mind the vomit green carbon fiber. I think it actually looks more OD green than anything else. And I've been going a little further towards green knives anyways in my collection. Green and gray. That's what I've been seeing a lot of, and maybe a little earthy tones. But this one I have enjoyed, and I really like the way it feels in hand. So that is the ZT Emerson 0640, and that one is going over here with the others in the pile, and we are on our last modern expensive, well, are we on our last one? No. So we'll go with this one. This is the steel wheel piercer, and I've been really enjoying this one. I've only had a couple days, but this is supposed to sell for about 80 bucks, so I guess this does fall into this expensive range. I picked this up for $33 from a eBayer that is located in the US, and in the same state I am in, Texas. And he was doing a closeout sale. Not that he was closing his store, but he was just getting rid of stock for the new year. And so I picked this up for 33 bucks, but it does fit in the expensive knife registry there. So we've got a titanium pocket clip, titanium back spacer. We've got a pillar here, and the thing that I was a little disappointed with is a knife of this price, we don't get a ceramic detent ball. I mean, what's up with that? But other than that, I have found that this is a great competitor to the Spyderco Native 5. Yeah, I mean, you can see a little bit of similarities. You get a little more blade, you do get a flat grind, and you do kind of get that big finger choil here, but this has this one up here, so you choke up. But yeah, this is definitely comparable, but I have found that this knife does a much better job of slicing. And the other thing I've noticed using this in the kitchen is that these two tabs here on each side are wonderful for a pinch grip. You can actually get flush with what you're cutting, and you can still do a chop cut. I mean, I love that. I love that design. Thank you, Tommaso. Thank you so much for a great design. So we're going to throw that in there. And the last one, Benchmade Knight 40. I mean, this has been one of the most carried knives of mine for 2020. And I haven't had that long, but I regret not having it earlier. And this is just an incredible knife. I mean, do I need to explain more? I've done a great video on this, and I think this is a wonderful knife. If you're willing to shell out the cash, this is almost 200 bucks now, and I don't think I would be buying one of these again. So I'm definitely not going on a fishing trip with this one in my pocket. But as far as we go, that is my knives of 2020. That's everything. Everything. Yep, quite a bit of everything. So, what can I do? What can I do? These are the expensive knives of 2020. I'm going to do the affordables probably tomorrow or this weekend. But this is my expensive pile of knives for 2020. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and me going through my collection. I will be doing a few videos on a few of these that I haven't shown yet, but thank you guys so much for joining me for this short video, and I hope you guys have a great day or night wherever you may be.